Hello, this is a video about my Russian tortoise Hank. Just to introduce, here's Hank sleeping well in his cage. Russian tortoises are commonly known as the African tortoise, horsefield tortoise, and they are endemic to Central Asia. And however, human activities, unfortunately, in this native habitat contribute to their threatened status. In terms of their etymology, both the specific name Horsfieldi and the common name Horsfield's tortoise are in honor of the American naturalist Thomas Horsfield. And the species is traditionally placed in Pseudo just to distinctly different morphological characteristics. Moreover, the Russian tortoise is a very small tortoise, where this is the adult size of them, about the size of my palm. It ranges up to 13 to 25 centimeters, and females grow slightly larger, which in this case Hank is not a female, he's a male. So males would average about from 13 to 20 centimeters. They are sexually dimorphic, as a fun fact. Males tend to have longer tails, generally tucked to their side, and longer claws, while females have a short, fat tail with shorter claws than the male. And Russian tortoises would have 4 claws, as you can see. And this is just Hank recognizing me and coming towards me. You can see him bobbing his head. In captivity, Russian tortoises are popular pets. They can be kept both indoors or outdoors, but outdoor tortoise enclosures generally require less equipment and upkeep, and are preferable if the keeper lives in an appropriate climate. However, in Korea, it is a country where we have 4 seasons, winter and fall, or in this case, the temperature for him is too low during the fall and winter season, so unfortunately I cannot keep him. However, I do take him on regular walks, just in front of my apartment on the grass during the summer for him to enjoy the sun and just to bask. For their diet in captivity, it typically consists of lime lettuce, different plants, vegetations, other dark leafy grains, as you can see. And also their diet should be as varied as possible to reduce the risk of imbalanced nutrition. And water is important for all species. The tortoise, being an air species, will typically get water from their food. However, they still do need constant supply of them. Young Russian tortoises should be soaked 1 to 2 times weekly in lukewarm water, no deeper than their elbows, to keep hydrated. However, although Hank is an adult, I do let him soak for once every week. Tortoises typically empty their balls in water to hide their scent, and this is an instinct, and it also helps keep their enclosure cleaner. Russian tortoises can live up to 50 years and require annual hibernation. And as a fun fact, in 1968, 2 Russian tortoises flew to the moon, circled it, and returned safely to the Earth on the Soviet Zone 5 mission. They were actually accompanied by mealworms, plants, and other life forms. They were the first Earth creatures to travel to the moon, which means that they are very hardy, very good for beginner reptiles. And in fact, Hank was actually my 2nd or 3rd reptile. My parents bought me as a Christmas present during 1st grade, and I still have him until 12th grade. So this is the 11th year that I'm keeping Hank. I would assume that he is about 11 or 12 years old. Hank lives in a very, very large cage compared to my hand. And this is his basking spot. The temperature is 31 Celsius, so it is turned off at the moment, but it should turn on if it goes below 31 degrees Celsius. These are the UVB lights that keep Hank supple with his vitamin D. And the bedding is just repti bark. And I don't have anything else just for him to have lots of roaming space since they live in horse field environments, the field. They don't have really many stuff that goes in their way. To just describe about more of their care, they are native to Asia and they enjoy burrowing and roaming around their habitat. Oh, you can just see that his basking light just turned on. And they live in deep burrows underground, enabling them to withstand wide environmental temperature variations. They are very active, friendly, ongoing when socialized. They are very sturdy and they are one of those hardy small tortoises. However, they do tend to be quite hostile to the same species, so I do not recommend keeping two in the same cage. The habitat size, ideally, indoor enclosure should be at least 24 by 48 per tortoise. The larger, the better. And also, glass tanks or large plastic tubs are appropriate. However, the sides, they should be, it is good for the sides to be closed in instead of glass, because tortoises would actually think that glass isn't glass. They would think that they just pass through this transparent material, so they would constantly try to crawl forward from it. So it's good to have a non-transparent material in order for them to not do useless workouts. The habitat should be very arid and dry, with shaded areas for our tortoise to escape direct sunlight on their basking lamp. So I splitted my cage with this heat area and this cool side. And this cage is large enough for him to just go back and forth, regulate his temperature. Also for tortoises, especially when they're young, it is good to keep it a bit more humid than usual for their recommended temperature, and that is because young tortoises are vulnerable to eye-related diseases. So if the temperature is very dry, they wouldn't be able to open their eyes. So and they will suffer from different diseases related to it. However, if they're and also it is good to maintain some amount of humidity during their adult years too. Thank you.